making a good progression into the senior ranks. Now, Habiba Ghribi, silver medalist at steeplechase at the World Championships and the Olympic Games 2011-2012. Not an indoor runner, but she has run 4.6 for 1,500 metres, did that at the end of last year. Well, Laura Muir has a choice, really, because she won the British Championships at 1,500 metres, and as the qualifying time, she actually did that less than 48 hours ago in Stockholm. It wasn't a good run by Laura's high standards over 1,500. I just wonder whether she had half an eye on today's race over 3,000 here. There's Sarah Tracy, watch out for her. And she's flanked by two very good young Ethiopians, Gebre Selassie and Teferi. Stepped well in this, Costa. So it's a loaded field, full of British interest, full of world-leading runners. Not quite the best in the world, because I mentioned right at the top of the programme again, Zebe Dibaba, who broke the 5,000 metre world record in Stockholm on Thursday night, also went through 3,000 in that race in a world-leading 8:37. Pace they've been asked for here is actually around about 8:45, which I think for Jess and 2-3 the other British athletes, that just might be feeling a little bit quick. Although Laura Muir has run 8:49. So lots of interest here. That qualifying time, 9 minutes. I think it's well within the compass of Jess Judd, Emilia Goretzka, if they can hang on to the pace here. Laura Muir already has it, but of course we should mention, Paula, that Kate Avery in the USA last week ran 8:53, so she comes into contention for selection as well. Of course, she wasn't at the British Championships.
Absolutely, provided she has, of course, put a letter into the British Athletics selectors informing them that she wasn't taking part in the trials, which was the issue last year. But with that 8:53, we would expect her to be going to Prague. They can take 3 runners, so looking here today for 2 of these girls to maybe sneak under that 9 minutes qualifying time, which this pace should set them up nicely to do.
I just think it's a little bit tough for Liz Costello. She's not renowned for doing this job, and to ask to go out and run 2,000 metres out in front on your own. Now, I'd be looking for somebody else to pick it up. Now, to be fair, we'd always look at, as she did last week, Emilia Goretzka to be a front runner. But when you've got good pace in this, then why should she? She knows she just wants to run 9 minutes. We should mention Sarah Tracy right at the back. She's in that Birmingham squad with Bud Buldaro. She's a qualified doctor now, Sarah, and is having the season of her life, and is still mixing it with a very, very arduous lifestyle as well. So hats off to her. There's Sarah Tracy, and just watch out for her in this race as well.
Yeah, just tracking Jess Judd there, and Jess, of course, is another athlete who's had some changes in her life in the last year or so. Very happy to see her settled in at Loughborough. I think in a good place, enjoying her running, mixing up the racing a little bit, experimenting a little bit with the 3,000 metres. I know she's a little bit nervous today. Her younger sister's going in the national cross country in Parliament Hill, and her dad's actually there watching.
So Laura Muir, very close to Costello, who's setting the pace. I should mention these 2 young Ethiopians, one of them just moving out. Actually, that was Teferi just stepping out there. She's just 19 years of age, ran 8:47 last year in Stockholm, has yet to run indoors at this distance this year. But she actually won the Ethiopian Championships when she was just 17 over 5,000 metres, so that'll tell you something. And then the other one, Gebre Selassie, who has run very fast this year, just on the curve there inside Emilia Goretzka. She's already run 8:45, just 20 years of age, just underlining the great Ethiopian talent that they have. 2:23 through 800 metres, a little slower than they'd asked for.
Yeah, I think they asked for 2:20 through 800 metres, so 3 seconds slow there. Struggling to see an actual natural front runner in this race. Habiba Ghribi of Tunisia, steeplechaser, possibly going to be upgraded to gold medalist now at the Olympics and World Championships in 2011, 2012. But this is actually her first ever race indoors, so I think she will just be content to sit in the pack and follow things through there. Ethiopian girls aren't natural front runners. Jordan Hussey of the USA sitting there in 3rd place, possibly, although I know that under Alberto Salazar's tutelage she's been working hard on her closing speed, and we'll also double back to pace Shannon Robury in the mile later on.
Well, only just under the pace required for the British athletes. They'll have half an eye on that. They would have been hoping, I think, for something a bit faster here. Now, it'd be really interesting to see whether the likes of Emilia Goretzka think, okay, I don't want this to slip too much here. They were only 2:59. Well, even I can do that maths. 3 times 1,000 meters of about 3 minutes. You're going to be right on the borderline of making the 9-minute mark. And step 12 probably is thinking exactly that in her head. And Ghribi moving up around the outside as well. So they're all realizing pace isn't quick enough, need to move it on, and Laura Muir just reacts a little bit as well.
Yeah, just a little bit of bumping and barging there. Ghribi, I think, not comfortable running in this pack, maybe running on the banked indoor track as well, and tried to move wide and pick up the pace, but has now slotted in as Laura Muir almost blocked her as she guarded that position that she's kept pretty much the whole race, of just sitting on the shoulder of the pacemaker and controlling this race.
Yeah, it was, as I said, a disappointing run from Laura. It was a very fast race. Sifan Hassan, the European champion, won in Stockholm on Thursday night in 4 minutes, and then there was a pack of runners in the 4.5, 4.6 mark, and Laura, well, it looked certainly on the last lap as though she wasn't going flat out, so I suspect she was saving herself, knowing that she wasn't quite getting what she wanted out of that race, and saving herself for today. So she's put herself in a good position here at 8:49. Ranks at number 2 in Europe at the moment. Only Korobkina's run faster, a Russian. So she, of course, will be hoping to go to the European Championship. She's got a choice, could run the 1500, but I know her plans initially were to run this distance, the 3,000. And I think if she has a good race today, then that's what we'll see her in. As we just see some bumping and barging, step 12, just almost coming a cropper there, right in the middle of the pack now, moving towards the back.
And that's a shame there. You can see Steph really struggling since that. I wonder if she twisted her ankle. She had been down in Australia, had already raced over 5,000 metres, and looked as though she was the one who was really itching there to move forward and to take on this pace a little bit, and that has really knocked her momentum there, and hopefully she isn't hurt too badly.
Well, they're still moving at just within the pace, and you'd assume if they can pick it up over the last 1,000, which, given that the whole pack are still there, they should be able to. Jess Judd for the first time, just trying to get a bit closer. Another little push and a shove from Emilia Goreczka as the athletes in front realise that Costello is slowing the pacemaker, and that somebody's going to pick this up and start to move the pace on as they come round this time to complete 2,000 metres. 1,000 metres left as Costello steps off.
Yeah, Costello then making the sensible decision. She was asked to go to 2,000 metres, but she was slowing and she knew it, and the field was ready to come past her, so stepped aside. And Habiba Ghribi it is now, who makes a longer run for home. I guess with her steeplechase background, she wouldn't be as confident up against the likes of Laura Muir if she leaves it too late in this race.
Yeah, Laura just took a little while to react there. Jordan Hasse had made one go to go past her, and now this time has gone past her. And then Teferi, the young Ethiopian, with her teammate Ghebreselassie on the inside. Costa has stayed with it, and rather disappointingly for me, the rest of the British contingent are not able to go with this change of pace, including Goreczka and Jess Judd, and indeed Sarah Tracer. There they are, and they're a good 3 seconds adrift now of the front of the race, as Ghribi really is making a long run for home here, but there are still 6 athletes in that pack.
Yeah, shame there that the British athletes further back were a little bit maybe caught napping by Ghribi when she made that jump. Jess Judd is sitting at the back of that pack of 4 and looks a little bit uncomfortable there.
And Laura Muir struggling as Ghribi picks it up. Jordan Hassan. Now Laura's got to dig in here. There's 3 laps to go, 600 metres. Ghribi, Hasse, Teferi, Ghebreselassie, Costa, who of course could be a rival of Laura Muir's at the European Championships. And Laura Muir just having to work hard here. She's already run much faster than the pace that they're going here already this year. So that's a bit of a surprise. So Ghribi, with Jordan Hasse, the American, just starting to create some gaps here. And that's much further back as Steph 12 moves to the front of that big group. So they come round with 400 metres left, Paula, and Ghribi is trying to run it from the front.
She is, and she's doing some damage here. That 400 metres that she injected the pace there was a 67-second one, so moving ahead of the 70-second requested pace, but they were running more like 72s. And you can see the damage that's done with only Jordan Hasse and Tesfaye able to go with that.
Maureen Costa moves into 4th place, and a little look behind. And Laura Muir really struggling over the last 300 metres or so. But at the front, Ghribi still pressuring Hasse, and Hasse is not renowned for a big finish either. So Ghribi using her strength and now using a bit of pace here. The Tunisian pulling away, still got Teferi to worry about. She moves past Hasse. It's a 5-metre lead down the back straight, just 100 to go. And Teferi is getting a little closer. But Ghribi working hard, under pressure now from the Ethiopian, but has she left enough here to grab the victory? It would be a well-deserved one, and Ghribi keeps pulling away. She's just about going to hang on, is she? Ghribi's hurting, but she gets the win. 8:46, a big, big run from her. Hasn't run indoors before. Laura Muir comes across the line in about 6th place there. Well, that's a very good run from the Tunisian. Judged it well, sat off the pace. Steph Twell just coming in ahead of Jess Judd, Sarah Tracy, and then Amelia Gorechka. I think the times have slipped away for those athletes. Ghribi, I think that's a really good run from her. You know, 8:46 indoors, Paula. The way they ran it, big last 1,000 meters. You know, they went through in just under 6 minutes, so 2:46.8 indeed for Ghribi, and she did it all herself, or by herself, in that last 1,000 meters. And you have to say, from the British perspective, a little disappointing.
Yes, I think it was disappointing there from a British perspective. Looking at Jess Judd there, she's obviously very tired. She was unable to go with that change of pace when Ghribi did pick it up, which was a very swift pickup and will have done some damage. As we saw, it did a lot of damage to the legs of Laura Muir there, who wasn't able to respond and go with it. I think if we look back at the splits of that, the second 1,500 meters in 4 minutes 17 seconds as opposed to the first in 4 minutes 29, and so that is just how much Habiba Ghribi was able to wind that up. And some of that will be the steeplechase strength. I think she's used to competing over the 3,000 meter distance, but with the barriers there, so maybe a pleasant change, and maybe hazard a guess she enjoyed her first race indoors there, and we might see her come back a little bit more and race indoors now.
Well, the first 4 women running personal bests. Laura Muir well under 9 minutes again, but I can tell you that for Steph Twell, Jess Judd, Amelia